Welcome back, friends, to the Cindy and Sear's B2 podcast, where we were born in the 70s, raised in the 80s, and influenced by the 90s. And we're here to reminisce with you. I am Cindy.
And I am Sear.
And you may notice that things look a little bit different this podcast.
It's not an illusion. We're here together. Do you want to tell people why you're here?
I will. So Sear and I both were turning 50 this year. Mine was a couple of months ago. Hers was just last month. And some of her friends here, shout out to Michelle and Nika here. They threw her an awesome 50th birthday party. It was a prom theme. So we had a blast. Chris and I flew out here, and it was an amazing time. But we knew that we had to have a record together while we were here.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Like, these girls went all out.
They did.
Rented this really amazing venue. They did prom court and, of course, prom king and queen, which, shocker, me kind of won.
Yes.
And they had a couple drawings, and it was dancing and punch, and then they had some little liquor bottles to spike your punch if you wanted to spike your punch.
Yes.
And food and drinks, and like all of my really good friends were there, which was amazing. So I knew Cindy was coming for my birthday, but another one of my best friends from California, shout out to Kenny, who I had no idea. So we arrived at the venue, and they were like, okay, come this way, come see everything. And I come around the corner and I hear, hey, I thought I was supposed to be your prom date. And I look over and it was Kitty. And I
Oh, yes.
It
was awesome.
Really, really sweet. I was so surprised.
Yes.
But like literally all of my best friends were there. I mean, Cindy was here, and, my two besties here in Washington threw the birthday party for me, and all of my girlfriends, and Kitty was here. And, I said, it was awesome.
It was a blast.
It was so much fun. So, I mean, I was already spoiled by, I spent 2 weeks in Europe for my 50th.
Yes.
But I'm super bougie and extra that way. And I couldn't stop at just 2 weeks in, Paris, and Disney Paris. I had to have another birthday party, but it really was my friends that wanted to do it, because we always celebrate each other whenever we can. And they really wanted to celebrate me too. But I felt so freaking just loved. And I mean, the fact that you, Cindy, would fly all the way from Oklahoma just to celebrate me. I was thinking last night when we got home, it was a very late night.
Hey, yes, it was.
And after the party, we had an after party. So we went to a local casino all dressed in our prom garb.
Yes.
It was so awesome. I still wore my tiara and my sash that said prom queen. And Cindy, Cindy and Chris actually were pulled aside by many people and wanted a picture taken with them.
Yes, we got a lot of attention, but I will say that Chris and we dressed up very fancy for this occasion, based on our favorite movie, which also happens to be Sear and I's favorite movie. So it was amazing. And apparently lots of other people love that movie because they knew exactly who we were.
And most people listening right now, before you even put a picture,
they'll know.
Probably know what it was.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we get started, drinks. Do we have drinks?
What are you drinking, Sear? I wonder.
So it's actually not a shocker because we're both here together.
Yes.
Drinking. So the first thing that I'm drinking, which I've had these before, this is not a new drink, but they are delicious and they're fairly new. I was just introduced to them probably a couple months ago, but it's Truly Unruly. So they basically just have a lot more alcohol in them. They're 8%. And this one is Berry Blast. It's It's really good. So we had a lot of technical difficulties trying to get this podcast set up today.
Yeah.
You would think being here together would be so much easier to record. No, we were wrong. Someone's here.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there was a lot of cussing and we quit like 8 times and was like, it's not going to work.
Yes.
As we've mentioned before,
you're a persistent
little bird. So I was like, we are going to make this work. So we did. So this is almost gone. So I do have a backup.
Oh, and I bought this at the store for her.
Yes.
Hoping she'll like it. I've never tried it.
Yes. So this is new for me. I've had this brand of a different flavor, but I had never seen this one until you saw it today. And so she bought it. But it's a peach. Oh, the light. Geez Louise. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it's a peach mojito by Craftwell Cocktails, and it's 10.5%.
I'm trying to get her drunk.
She wants to take advantage of it later. So this one I haven't tried.
Hashtag 2 girls and a mic.
Okay. So I haven't tried this one yet. So this is the first sample. Here, you try it. Hopefully Isaiah's not watching because I'm not supposed to share drinks with people.
I know.
It's not super peachy. It has a.
It's very peachy. I think it's very peachy.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. Or very fruity, like nectarine or something.
I taste the mint.
Oh, I taste mint.
Try it again. You don't taste mint? You can smell the mint.
I also thought Peach was coconut the other day, so.
That's true. We can't trust her. I mean, I can taste a little bit of the peach, but it tastes more minty to me than.
I don't know. It's strong. I like the flavor. I think it tastes. Maybe it's tasting more like a passion fruit to me or something but it's very fruity.
Yeah.
But I can definitely taste the alcohol. It's strong to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can taste the booze in it. It is 10.5%. Okay. What are you drinking?
I like stuff that's lower alcohol content. So again, I'm drinking some of the Seagram's Escapes. This one, it's that blueberry SI lemonade again, which is delicious. It's like a 3.2, but then you got to add a little bit of Malibu rum, and it makes it really delicious. And
that, can I just say real quick, that bottle of rum is the second bottle of rum because she already finished the first bottle of rum.
In my defense, there was like this much to start with, so I have not drank that much. So anyway, that's what I'm drinking, and look, it's a really pretty blue. So
it is really pretty.
Yeah. So so if you're not wanting to get really drunk, then you're fine.
I don't know. I drink to get drunk.
Oh,
I mean, you don't get a hooker to buy a hug.
Maybe you do.
You don't go to a hooker for a hug. You don't go to McDonald's for a salad. You don't drink.
Maybe.
Okay.
So, we will continue drinking our lovely drinks. But speaking of birthday parties, since we had that amazing party, we were just going to talk about parties in general, like especially growing up. Birthday parties for us when we were little. I don't know about you, but mine were always at my house. Mm-hmm. Like nowadays, kids, it seems like it always has to be this huge production. Everything has to be perfect, and you have to go somewhere, and you have to like entertain them like it's $100 a kid, and you have to have amazing cakes or drink. I mean, when we were growing up, it was always just at home. If you had one at McDonald's, that was amazing. Like you were lucky or something. Yeah. Now that's kind of probably considered maybe the lower end.
Oh yeah.
Like, somebody would not want to have it at McDonald's. They'd rather have it at like a jump place or the golf place.
Oh yeah. Well, so in the 80s, like Cindy said, your birthday was always at home. Mm-hmm. You had a birthday party at home and you invited your friends, and that's what it was. When it wasn't at home, it was either McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese.
Or the park.
Or
the park. If you had it in the good weather, you could have it at the park.
There were, yes, we did have plenty of birthday parties at the park too. But as far as like going to a place that like cost money,
right,
it was either McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese.
Mhm.
That's it. Your birthday party was either at home or at one of those two places. So what is your most memorable birthday? Your most memorable birthday.
How much of
I swear
she just started.
This is the first one. I swear.
I don't know what year it was, but I'm gonna say I think my most memorable one. It was definitely probably under the age of 10, and I remember I got to have a strawberry shortcake themed
What?
birthday party, but we didn't get to buy things at the store. Like when you're doing it at home, you don't buy the paper plates and the cups. You didn't spend that money. And so my mom and I drew little strawberry shortcakes and taped them on the cups. I remember working on all these little things for the party. And that was, I think, my most memorable. What about you? Besides, obviously, last night.
Oh, well, last night. I mean, listen, I'll turn 50 every year if I can have a party like that. I mean, like, absolutely amazing. We'll be posting pictures too, so you guys can see some of the fun that we had. But my most memorable, well, first of all, so if it was my birthday or my brother's birthday, we always got to pick what we wanted for dinner and what kind of cake we wanted. None of this, parents can't say no for the day. It wasn't that. You got dinner and cake.
Yeah, that was not a thing.
And you got to pick which friends you wanted over. So my brother always picked strawberry cake with vanilla frosting. And I think I probably did vanilla with no frosting. I have never liked frosting. To this day, I don't like frosting. Yeah. My coworkers, when it's somebody's birthday, they always buy a cake. Mm-hmm. They know I don't like cake, frosting. Mm-hmm. So I always get bagels. They always bring bagels in for me, which is really nice. Awesome. So I think I would always pick just a vanilla cake or maybe a chocolate cake, but no frosting on it. And then we got to pick what we wanted for dinner. So my mom made the best macaroni salad and potato salad. And my birthday's in September. So I'm like still kind of summertime.
I remember your mom's macaroni salad.
It was delicious, but she would put onions in it. And I hated onions. So every birthday, I would ask for either macaroni salad or potato salad with no onions in it. Okay. That's all that I wanted. So she would make a big bowl, and the big Tupperware bowls.
Oh, yes.
She would make a big bowl of that. So what she would do is she would make it, and then she would take out, a small bowl for me, and then she would add the onions to the big bowl and make it. And so it took years before I was like,
why couldn't she?
I'm like, can't you just do that all the time? She was like, okay. So then but that's always what I wanted for my birthday. So my most memorable birthday was when I turned 7. And the birthday party theme was Come As Your Mom. And I have a picture. Cindy will post it. It was Come As Your Mom. A couple of my cousins, the little girl across the street, a couple friends from school. You weren't at that birthday party. But all of the little girls came dressed like their mom. So I was wearing a little wraparound skirt with a tube top and wedged heels.
Is that what your mom would wear?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My mom wore tube tops all the time.
Did she?
Oh, yeah. Like at the lake and stuff, she was always in a tube top.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a picture of all of us little girls standing there, and we're all dressed like our moms, big dresses and wraparound skirts. And it was hilarious. The games were homemade also.
Yes.
Like, drop a clothespin in a jar.
Pin the tail on the donkey. And,
exactly. So that was my most memorable. I mean, I definitely have a lot more birthdays that I have fond memories of. Mm-hmm. But that one is probably my most memorable. And that whole birthday party made it in the paper. Do you remember my mom would always clip articles?
Yes.
And she would laminate them and send them to me?
Yes.
She probably sent some to you too. But my mom would always clip articles and laminate them. So somebody somewhere heard about it and they thought it was such a cute idea. So they interviewed my mom and we were in the paper.
Oh.
Yeah. And I still have the article. I have the article.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And now that you said that, on my birthday, I would get to pick what we had for dinner too.
Yeah.
And it was always Kraft macaroni and cheese, which, wow. But my mom would take my favorite thing was when she'd make these little kebab sticks,
Mm.
which it was just lunch meat and cheese and like maybe grapes or whatever.
Yeah.
She also would make, we called it ants on a log.
Yeah.
And it was a celery stick with peanut butter with raisins on it.
One of the first times that I had a bacon wrapped hot dog was at your house.
Really?
Yeah. Your mom, yeah, she took the hot dogs and she wrapped them in bacon and baked them.
I don't remember that. I do remember us eating bagel dogs from Schwann's at my house all the time.
Oh. You know,
Those were delicious.
Every time I can find, because bagel dogs are harder to find nowadays. Whenever I see one, I'm like, oh, I have to get that.
Yeah.
Do you also at the fair? We talked about the fair a couple episodes ago. One of my favorite things from the fair was the egg roll on a stick. Did you ever get that?
No, I've never tried it.
Oh my God. So every time there's like a carnival in a parking lot, or I'm like, ooh, what food trucks do they have? Or food carts.
Yeah.
I am still to this day looking for an egg roll on a stick because they were so good. They would like dip it in the sweet and sour. Oh, they were so good.
I think this is a hint for Zay to figure this out and make one.
Yeah, okay. He grills. He doesn't make hot dogs on a stick or egg rolls on a stick. I remember another time I was at your house and your mom wasn't feeling well and she wanted like fried potatoes or something. And I don't remember exactly how it came about, but I was like, yeah, I know how to make fried potatoes.
Did you?
No, I mean, I'd seen my mom do it. They were so covered in I put way too much oil in the pan, and your mom's like, they're good.
Don't
They were terrible. I'm like, yeah, I know how to make fried potatoes. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff that your, parents used to make, so a couple things that my mom always used to make that I loved. One of them was porcupine meatballs. Which it was meatballs, but it had rice in it, and that was the porcupine quills. So they weren't like sticking out, but you'd see them in there. I mean, they were delicious, but I think I just liked them that they were like looked like a porcupine.
Yeah. I don't think I ever had those at your house.
Yeah, she didn't make them very often, but I thought those were cool. And this is different probably from nowadays too. You pretty much cooked every night. There wasn't really going out to eat very much. And then at the end of the week, whatever was left over, they would try to make into something as leftovers. And so one of the ones that my mom and dad had created ended up being one of my mom's very favorite meals. And I love it too. So they had leftover hot dogs, mozzarella cheese, spaghetti, and spaghetti sauce. And so she made a casserole of the spaghetti and the sauce and mozzarella and the little cut up hot dogs. It's actually really good.
Do you still eat that today? Is that a staple dish in your house?
No, but I have made it and I have eaten it and I do love it. So yeah. What about you?
Well, so leftovers, see, that's another thing too. Like when we were growing up, if you like leftovers, that was your lunch the next day.
Yeah.
Or you would have it for dinner again, this whole not eating leftovers was not a thing when we were growing up.
Right.
They absolutely got ate. But my dad would make everything, like any leftover, into a sandwich. So literally,
that's my kind of guy right there.
Like spaghetti, he would put it between two pieces of bread and eat a spaghetti sandwich. Any leftover meat always went between two pieces of bread. Like he would make a sandwich out of everything. And then kind of similar to your family, at the end of the week, it's like, okay, it's buffet night and you're just
make something out of it.
Whatever is left over.
Well, I am somewhat similar to your dad, but I like to use a tortilla. I like to put everything in a tortilla. My favorite leftovers in a tortilla is Thanksgiving tortillas. So I got Matt's family hooked. They were just like, oh, what are you making the next day after Thanksgiving? I'm like, well, I bought these handmade flour tortillas, from the market. I bought them because I was planning. I'm like, I'm ready for the day after Thanksgiving. And so, you put some stuffing and mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, turkey, cranberry, all of it. And you just warm it up and wrap it up. And everybody's like, ooh, what's this? And so then all of a sudden my tortillas were gone. Damn.
Okay. That sounds good. I might have to try that. So me and the girls were just in Vegas in August. And there is a sandwich place called Sandwich of Earl. Earl of Sandwich.
That sounds right. Roll of sandwich.
I wanted the wrong thing, and Michelle kept saying roll of sandwich, and I'm like,
I think that's something. Earl
Yeah,
of sandwich.
okay.
It's not just a restaurant, but I think it is something.
Yeah, Sandwich of Earl. It's in Planet Hollywood.
Okay.
But they had a Thanksgiving dinner sandwich. We literally went back 3 times and got this.
That sounds delicious.
It was so good. It had turkey and the cranberry sauce and stuffing and gravy, and it was on a hoagie roll. So Michelle, actually, she tried to duplicate it like a few weeks ago, and apparently it turned out pretty good. But Thanksgiving leftovers on a sandwich and a tortilla by itself, all mixed together, like they're the best.
It is.
Those are the best kind of leftovers. Thanksgiving leftovers.
Yep, that is. What else did your parents make? My mom she also made sweet and sour hamburgers, which I always loved. She'd make some rice, but then it had almost like a teriyaki brown glaze that she'd put on the hamburgers. And then there was chunks of pineapple.
I feel like I've had that.
That's one of my very favorite things she'd make. I would request that too.
So our parents didn't cook out of boxes or out of cans. Everything was
except for the Kraft mac and cheese.
Except the Kraft mac and cheese that she had to have on her birthday, which I'm not going to lie. My favorite Kraft mac and cheese is Kraft mac and cheese with a can of Denison's chili. Mix it together and have chili mac.
Okay, that's delicious. That sounds good.
So my mom was a really, really good cook. She was very much a comfort food. And my dad, we're going to have chef salad for dinner tonight. No, that's not dinner.
Oh, because there's no meat.
There's no meat. My dad very much was a meat and potatoes and starch. So one of my chores as a kid was I had to set the table before dinner. And then after dinner, I had to put all the food in Tupperware, clear the table, rinse all the dishes and stack them so that after us kids went to bed, my mom would go in and she just had to wash the dishes. Everything else was done. So every night I set the table because we ate dinner at the table as a family every single night. I had to set the table. Always a loaf of bread with a dish of butter was always put on the table as just part of setting the table, and salad dressing. Because my mom, every single night, whatever leftover anything she had went into a salad.
Okay.
But there always had to be meat, a starch, and a vegetable.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right.
It was not dinner.
And did you drink milk with every?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had to drink milk with every single.
At 50 years old, I can't drink milk anymore.
Or is it why you haven't really broken very many bones?
That could be too. Oh yeah, that could be too. I've only broken one bone.
Yep.
Fractured one, broke one.
Right.
But yeah, so I remember one time my mom, she decided to make stir fry, and my dad's like, "What the hell is this?" My mom's like, "Dinner." And he's like, "This ain't dinner." It had a starch, it had rice, it had meat in it, and it had vegetables.
But it's all mixed together.
It was all in one bowl, so that wasn't dinner.
That didn't count.
But yeah, so there was always meat, usually a meat and potato. So the potato was either baked, or they were fried, or they were mashed, or they were scalloped, or it was always meat, potato, vegetable, and then there was always a side salad and always bread and butter. But one of the things that my mom made that I loved, but she always put onions and mushrooms and everything. To this day, I hate mushrooms. People are like, "No, Shar, you have to try them this way." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try it." And I try it. I'm like, they feel disgusting. Mushrooms taste like dirt. They're slimy. I'm not a texture person. Textures don't bother me.
They do have a weird texture, though. I mean,
they're disgusting.
I love mushrooms.
I hate mushrooms.
Except for those weird little Chinese ones.
I don't like any of them. They're all disgusting. They all taste like dirt and doo-doo. And yeah, I know what doo-doo tastes like.
It tastes like a mushroom.
Sometimes my mom would use canned mushrooms.
Oh, I don't like those. No, those aren't.
Because fresh mushrooms were expensive. Fresh fruits or fresh vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of fresh fruit when we were kids because that was expensive, and a lot of fresh vegetables. So you would think that my parents would have made a garden and grown their own vegetables, but no, they didn't do that either. Anyways, my mom it was a pizza, but it wasn't pizza. She would take, the biscuits that are in the can, you peel the pan and they pop.
Yep.
She would take those and she would put those on the bottom, and that was the crust. And then she would do a pizza sauce and cheese, and she would do this ground beef mixture that she would put onions and mushrooms in and then cheese on top, and she'd bake it. It was so
It sounds
good.
delicious.
It was so good. It was one of my favorite things that she made, but I would have to pick the onions and mushrooms. And I may have for a birthday been like, can you make this
without the
onions? I'm not sure, but that was, and we always had staple, like there were things that if you had this, you were having this and this with it.
Oh yeah.
Like you always, if you were going to have, like my dad used to love those red hot, they were the little hot dog sausages.
Oh,
they were kind of short.
Yes.
They were really
with
big
red.
around.
They were red, kind of.
They were red. So he loved those. If we were having those, we always knew that there was going to be a pot pie on the side.
Oh,
my mom would, that was a staple meal. Or artichokes. Like,
oh yeah,
artichokes. It was always going to be a pot pie on the side.
Did they boil them and then dip them in the mayonnaise?
My mom would boil them, which she boiled everything.
Okay.
And now we have learned that steaming vegetables is so much better. But up until my mom passed away, she still boiled the hell out of her vegetables.
Okay.
Like boiled all of the flavor out. It was just soggy clumps. But yeah, she would boil the artichokes and then she would do melted butter and mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
So you could do if you haven't ever had an artichoke dipped in melted butter.
Well, I would need to because I would refuse the mayonnaise. So I just didn't dip it in anything. I just eat it.
Yeah, they're good that way too. But yeah, I remember the first time I decided to make an artichoke on my own. Actually, I was just telling you about this the other day. So when I got my first apartment, like I would call my mom all the time. How do you make an artichoke? How do you do this? How do you do it? And she's like, see, this is what, because my mom would always try to get me to come into the kitchen with her. And I never wanted to. That was boring to me.
Right.
So she's like, now this is why I tried to get you to come and help me in the kitchen.
Yes.
But anytime I would call and borrow something, I'm like, do you have this? Do you have that? My parents were keeping a list of everything that I called them to borrow or ask about. And then they bought it for me. So that's awesome. For my Christmas or my birthday or something, so one of my friends was over. Do you have an iron? I'm like, no. Hey mom, do you have an iron I can borrow? I ended up with an iron. You know how many times it got used? Once.
That's about right for mine too.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
More food that our parents made. My mom used to make sun pickles, which they're so good. I'm kind of a pickle snob, I guess. So she'd get the little pickling cucumbers and I have the recipe. It's like vinegar and fresh dill and garlic in there. And then whatever else, probably salt and pepper. I don't know. And then you put them in the mason jars, but they had to sit outside in the sun and it had to be over 100 degrees for so long for them to do whatever they needed to do. And so we didn't get to, I guess pickle for them to pickle. We could only make them so often, I guess. I always wanted those pickles. Always. They were so
sun tea. That's the same, like sun tea. Did your mom ever make sun tea?
No, we weren't really big iced tea people.
Okay, so my mom would buy the gallon jars of mayonnaise and refill the small one with the big gallon one. And back then they came in glass jars, not like today where it's plastic jars. So those mayonnaise jars got used for a lot of different things, but my parents loved sun tea. So she would use those mayonnaise jars to do the sun tea. I've never heard of sun pickles. That actually sounds like something I would like.
Oh, they're so good. I guess other pickles, I think they boil or something. And they kind of are squishy. And these were very crisp.
See, Clausen's.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
If you're listening, the best pickles, and it's because they're crunchy. Oh, do you remember that commercial? That's the best tasting pickle I've ever had. It was the store.
Yep, right. I remember that.
See, we should have done.
We could have. What about going out to eat? I know we said we didn't really do that very often back then. But do you remember the Golden Room?
Yes, and I have a very funny story.
Oh, good.
My brother worked there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a dishwasher or something when he was a kid.
We had a fancy, I guess it was considered fancy.
Oh, yeah.
And occasionally, I get to go there with my family.
I never went there.
Okay.
Not once.
So I don't remember anything about the food, but I do remember doggy bags, which they actually had doggy bags that I think people would take home and feed to their dog, which is why they were called that. but I don't remember anything about the food, but I do remember the little garnish that would be on the plate, and it was parsley.
Mm-hmm.
And we would always take it home and feed it to our parakeet. That's what I remember about this fancy place. And the bird just loved to eat this little parsley.
I forgot about your parakeet. Wait, let's see if I can remember its name. Okay, while I think about that, I have two stories.
Okay.
One of them involves a parakeet. So one year for my birthday, Cindy lives in Oklahoma. I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. I get a FedEx package from Cindy.
I'm sorry.
And it is Petey. So for those of you who know that Dumb and Dumber is our favorite movie, Petey was the parakeet that its head fell off.
We got no food. We got no job. Our parents.
So Cindy she was in like Hobby Lobby, saw a parakeet, a fake parakeet that looked just like Petey. So she bought it, broke the head off of it, duct taped it, put it in a package and sent it to me.
Happy birthday.
Birthday presents ever. Still to this day, that was one of the best.
I know. I just was walking by and it was in the clearance bin, just this bird laying there. I'm like, oh wait, I think I have I got to do this.
But I did get another package in the mail one time, not from you, but from another one of my girlfriends. I was in a motorcycle accident and she went and bought they have the Hot Wheels, but it was like it was a motorcycle. And she ran over it several times with her car and then put it in a package and FedExed it to me.
Oh, excellent.
I laughed hysterically and all of her coworkers were like, you can't sit. That is meat. That's going to upset. That's like terrible. That's a terrible sense of humor.
You don't know Char.
She's like, I don't know Char. So sure enough, I opened it and oh my God, I died. She's the one also, I had an invasive surgery that took all of my oven out. My oven was removed from my kitchen. She sent me a diagram. It was a female anatomy with a uterus and fallopian tubes. And she just like scribbled everything out and then sent that to me. But what was your parrot's name? I forget I do remember parakeet. I don't remember your parakeet's name.
Terry.
Yes. Totally do remember
Terry.
That. Yeah.
I don't know why. Terry.
So
it was my sister's. I didn't name it.
Yeah. No, I totally remember Terry. My mom had finches. Do you remember when my mom had finches?
I do.
2 of them. And the male apparently was always trying to, get busy with the female, and the female wasn't always wanting to get busy. So my mom, the bird cage was next to her, back then also our parents had his and her recliners. Yes. Always next to each other. And the bird cage was next to my mom's. And my mom loved doing crossword puzzles. So she would always have a pencil. And when the male bird started going after the female, she would poke it with the pencil, like for her. Anyways, the Golden Room.
Yes.
So I never went because it was a nice restaurant. And it was expensive because it was a swankier kind of restaurant. So it was my parents' anniversary and I decided to make them an anniversary dinner. And I made them a menu and I called it the Silver Room. Oh. My mom still had when I was going through her stuff after she passed away, she still had the menu. But I put a shirt and tie on and I had like the little napkin. The towel over my arm. And I had somehow gotten a sheet and put it up so it blocked the kitchen and set the table and I don't think I had candles, but I had something that was supposed to be candles. Yeah. And I did this whole dinner and it was terrible. Like the meat was overcooked, but they loved it. Aww. And they were like telling everybody about it, but that's because I couldn't actually, get them to the Golden Room. So I made them the Silver Room experience.
That's awesome.
I know, very thoughtful, right?
That is. That just reminded me of something, which, my very first boyfriend, which I know was not your favorite, but he did have his moments. So we were like 13 or something. He wanted to take me out for a fancy dinner, which obviously that was not going to happen. So I remember that he fixed rice checks for us by candlelight.
Okay, that's kind of sweet.
It was sweet. It was sweet. It was sweet. The parakeet actually reminded me of yet another story. So we've talked about this bed and breakfast that I worked at
Oh yeah.
a couple of times. So it was kind of a horror story. It was very, very creepy. I don't even remember how long I worked and lived there. It scarred my little brain. So there was this big house in our town that apparently was a bed and breakfast. Never knew it until they had advertised that there was a room for rent, a 1 bedroom house that was for rent, and if it
was it like an in-law house? Oh, you're getting to that.
No, it was not.
Shut up, Char.
It's a 1 bedroom, no bath. Just FYI. And in
How did you not taste the mint in this?
I don't know. Don't taste it. So in exchange for free rent, you just had to help with chores at the bed and breakfast. Yeah, that we'll talk about that in a whole nother time. But they had a bird, and it was a cockatiel, and it was named Romeo. And this bird hated me.
I remember you telling me stories about Romeo.
Yeah, so they would let it just fly free in the house. I love animals, so I don't know what this thing had against me. I'd be cleaning, vacuuming, or whatever, and I'd get a feeling like somebody was watching me, and I turn around, and over in the doorway, it's on the ground, peeking around the corner, looking at me, and it would do that. It would follow me around and just be looking at me. So one time I decided, I'm going to scare this bird and make it like quit following me or whatever. So it had come around a little bit towards me. And so I kind of went like that and stomped at it. And that bird.
You checked it?
I was trying to check it. That bird like bowed up and it started walking towards me and flapping its wings and hissing. I'm like,
I've never seen that in real life, but I've seen it on nature shows.
Yeah. So yeah, that it backfired. It scared me more. I had never messed with Romeo, but it was like, what is it?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. There's a lot to tell about that place.
That bird actually was aggressive, not like the cow. The Brahma bull.
There was a Brahma bull though, right?
No. He had a Texas Longhorn at one time, but never a Brahma bull.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well that was just a rumor.
It was. We lived.
I don't know.
A long time.
That was just the rumor, so I was scared. I don't know. Yeah. So this bird was aggressive. It wasn't just me imagining it. So
birds are mean.
They can be.
We just saw somebody. We came out of a restaurant and somebody had. This was why you were here, right? Am I making this up? There was a guy that had like a giant green.
It was Costco. He had one of those giant, like a bluish.
That's funny. Sometimes I'll be telling.
And you said, "Man, I bet that thing would like take a crap," and then it totally took a crap.
I was thinking, it's gonna crap everywhere, and then all of a sudden it's all did a big old crap. But it's funny because quite often I'll be telling, like Michelle, I'll be like, "Oh, I went and did this, and I saw this, and blah blah." She's like, "Yeah, I was with you." So last night, actually, it was really funny. Isaiah's he's gonna get mad at me, but no, he won't really get mad at me. But so last night at my prom birthday party, there's dance music playing, and then a slow song comes on. I'm like, oh, of course you had to play a slow song because all school dance slow songs. And she's like, "This is your wedding song." The song that Isaiah and I danced to after we got married.
You danced to it.
I went and I grabbed him and we danced. And Nika, my other girlfriend, she got a really cute video. And
yes, it was great.
Sweet and fun. But yeah, I do that all the time. So that's why I'm like, was it you that's with me? Was that me and you?
Right.
Am I making this up?
No, yeah, possibly.
We did see a giant, this guy, who goes to Costco with a giant, it wasn't it was like one of, like a pirate parrot. It was like,
it was the big one.
It was the big one.
The ones that that live like over 100 years.
What are those ones called?
Is it a macaw?
Yeah, I think so.
Macaw parrot or whatever.
Right. But it was giant. I mean, it was like this tall.
And its tail was probably that long.
I mean, I imagine I got a bad shoulder. I got stiff shoulders. So I wouldn't be able to carry a bird that big for very long. But like, why are you going to Costco with this giant freaking bird on your shoulder? He really should wear an eye patch when he carries that bird.
That would.
Otherwise, it just makes no sense why he's carrying a bird.
Well, okay, wait. Here's yet another layer of that. So in my neighborhood, there used to be a guy that would ride around on his motorcycle with one of those on his shoulder, and you'd hear it squawk. Like it'd be like squawk. You'd hear it from in your house. Like,
What would it do?
yeah, thanks. You know what it would do. You heard me.
I didn't hear it.
I think you did. So one time when we were at the park, I was out there watching a soccer game, and that was when we had the big Aquanet hair, crunchy, ratted. A bird pooped on my head when I was out there. So were you there?
That reminded me of something else. Go ahead.
I was probably 13 or 14. So any little thing that happens is like the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
But I'm at the park, so I can't even do anything. And it was crusty hair everywhere, and it went down in there. Like, how am I ever going to get this out?
I have two
Bring it.
poop stories. The first one, it actually involves my husband. We were with some friends out at McMinimans. We've talked about McMinimans. Their Ruby Ale is one of my favorite beers. But they have a very big property. I think we went there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
It's the cool one. Anyways, we're walking around, and all of a sudden he feels something. He's like, "Did a bird just shit? Did I?" And he looks. The bird literally shit right in his pocket. Like the aim that bird had. Just shit in my pocket. Like, at least it was in your pocket, not like on your head, because he's bald. So that would have just.
Ew.
It would have just ran down.
Yeah, the birds are probably like, "Hey, I bet I can get that. Oh, I bet you can't hold my beer."
I bet you a couple worms.
Right.
Do you remember?
Oh, like we don't have to do it. Just they have to do it.
Oh, that's good to know, because I was getting tipsy at that last record. Do you remember it was the first day, I think, of 8th grade, and a bird crapped on me? And so I went running to you. I'm like, oh, and we had to go in the bathroom, and you had to help me get it out of my hair.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, when we were in junior high, I wasn't allowed to shave my legs because I'm a natural blonde. So all of my hair is blonde. So my mom wouldn't let me shave because she thought I didn't need to, because it was blonde and you couldn't see it, which is true. I was blonde, but I am a hairy mofo. So
it was a lot of blonde hair.
So, like, yeah, it's blonde, but you absolutely can see it because there is a lot of it. So, because my mom wouldn't let me shave, first of all, Cindy had an epilady.
Yeah.
Anybody from the 80s that had an epilady knows that is a torture device.
Yeah, it is.
That was a punishment.
I was so excited. That's all I wanted, and that was my big present I got for Christmas. Oh my God, that was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not using that. Are you kidding? I had so much hair on my legs. Like, I can't even imagine that would have hurt. So Cindy decided to start plucking. No, I didn't shave. But Cindy, like, one by one, I mean, how many hairs do you have on your leg? Thousands?
Oh, yeah.
But Cindy was going to get my leg shaved. But it was the day before 8th grade. It was like Sunday night, and we were starting school on Monday morning, which kids start school on like Wednesday.
Oh, I know. It's weird. I know.
Anyways, my aunt was over, a bunch of cousins and aunts and uncles. Anyways, we're running and playing and swimming. And my aunt saw my legs, and she's like, "Sure, she's like, you need to shave your legs." And I'm like, "I want to, but my mom won't let me." So my aunt's like, "Nancy, she needs to shave her legs." And my mom's like, "She doesn't need to shave. It's blonde. You can't even see it." My aunt's like, "Oh no, you can see it. Like, kids are going to make fun of her. You need to let her shave her legs." So that night, my mom shaved my legs for me for the very first time. And it was the night before I started 8th grade. And I just, to this day, I remember that feeling of the
getting in the sheets
on my legs that had no hair on me.
Right.
It was the most amazing feeling ever.
Yep.
But that was when it was the day before 8th grade that I finally got to shave my legs. Your plucking did not help.
No. Oh my gosh. By the time we got like probably halfway up, they would already be regrown down at the bottom.
One thing that my mom did say, she's like, "You can't shave above your knee. Never shave above your knee." Yeah. And to this day, I don't. I never did. I don't. And I never have had to. I mean, it gets a little hairy, and
Yeah, we will.
You want to tell this story. I know you want to tell it. It's a very embarrassing story for me, but I mean, we're talking about shaving and being hairy, and I just said I'm a hairy mofo. I have hair in abundance everywhere except on my head. I have the tallest hair. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought you were going to tell.
Oh, this one, not that one.
No, this one.
Remember?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to tell that one.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
It just
No.
The motion that she was giving me, I'm like, I don't think we won't tell that one either.
Okay, so I don't know how old we were. We're older than that. So we were probably in high school, I'm guessing. And it was at your apartments. And we were going to go swimming. Okay, so side note, I'm not very hairy. So, I mean, anyway.
Stop bragging, Cindy. Whatever. You don't sweat. You're not hairy. You didn't have pimples. What else do you want to rub in? Just kidding.
Anyway, so we were going to go swimming at the apartment pool. And Char's like, oh, I got to shave my bikini line before we go down there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's just us. It's not a big deal. Nobody's going to notice. And she was like, really? You think? I'm like, no, nobody's going to see it. Okay. And so I had like nothing really outside the bikini line to worry about. So that's why I just thought everybody was going to be like me. And so I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. So we get down there.
It wasn't fine.
Swimming. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, oh, it's not okay. You're right.
So then we have to go back so that I can shave my bikini line like I originally wanted to do. So yeah. But it's funny because...
Well, you don't see other girls... I don't know. I just didn't know. So anyway.
Yeah. Again, like hair in abundance in every place except where I really need it, which is on top of my head.
Yeah. Were you like a year and a half before you even got any hair on your head?
Yeah. No, like 3.
Oh.
So there's a picture that my mom has of me when I was a baby. I was like 9 months old. And she taped a bow to my head because I had no hair and she wanted to put a bow. Nowadays, you get the little headbands with the bow.
Yeah.
But you can see the tape in the picture.
I was telling Chris about that, and he said for his daughter, they would use like Caro syrup or something. They would put that. I'm like, oh, that would be good because it's.
See, his daughter has a beautiful.
She has a ton of hair.
She has a ton of it. It never came in for me. I absolutely have my mom's hair. Which, again, we've talked about how my mom gave me some really great things. Like, I have amazing, beautiful eyelashes. I have perfect nail beds. Every time I get my nails done, they're like, oh, you have such perfect nail beds. Apparently, I have perfect nail beds. I guess oily skin could be a good thing.
It is, because now I later in life.
Wrinkles. Right? I've never had gray hair. My mom didn't even get gray hair until she was like.
I have a ton.
My mom was like 65 before she really started getting gray hair. So there's a few things that my mom gave me that, okay, thanks, Mom. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
But like the thin, fine hair, that also, like every bad thing that I have is from my mother.
But Char's hair looks really cute. So just FYI.
Okay. I mean, I'm able to style it to like make it work, but I have to keep it short. I have, so yeah, but I get jealous of babies because babies have more hair than I do. Nika and Michelle, both of their daughters, like, I'm like, how is a baby born with this much hair?
Hair than me right now.
So anyways.
Okay. Well, are you ready for trivia?
Yes.
So this week I'm doing some 90s trivia.
Oh, 90s.
Yep, 90s.
Stepping out 90s. Of the 80s.
Yep, we are.
Even though we're here together in person, I have no idea it was 90s.
Yep, yep. So which 90s boy band is the best-selling boy band of all time?
From the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, boy bands, I think of like NSYNC, but those were more like 2000s, right?
Well, this one's not.
NSYNC. No. Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
I don't know who's in them. I know Justin Timberlake's in one of them, but I don't know which is which.
I didn't really get into.
I was into was like Bonnie
Velvet DeVoe,
Def Leppard, Velvet DeVoe. Oh, remember I had the biggest crush on.
Yep.
Those were my boy bands. Aerosmith. He's still my boy.
I didn't know this, but this is. Yeah, you did. I don't know.
Can we cut that out?
Absolutely not now. I did not know this. And
Let's see if I do.
what 1993 all-black sitcom was the direct inspiration for the 1994 TV show Friends? And I'm sure you used to watch it because I used to watch it too.
The one with Jimmy Walker.
No. It's a 1993 all-black sitcom.
Oh.
That one was like from the...
Oh, yeah, yes.
That was
60s.
Good Times.
Good Time. That's what I was thinking.
So that's not it.
90s sitcom? Was it The Cosby Show? No, because that was a family.
Would you like a hint?
Yes.
It had Queen Latifah in it.
She was in a sitcom?
Yeah. And it had Tootie in it.
From The Facts of Life?
Yeah. And you watched it. I guarantee you did, because I did.
Queen Latifah. Oh! I know it. Can't remember the name of it. Also the other girl, shoot, yes.
Living Single.
I was thinking in Living Color, and I'm like,
oh, and it wasn't. Yeah.
Color.
Yeah.
Living Single.
I did not know that had that, like, was the inspiration for Friends.
I didn't either.
Didn't know. I loved watching that one.
Mm-hmm.
That one's too easy. I guess I'll give you. You're like, give me some points here. Which legendary artist wrote and performed the song "I Will Always Love You" from the 1992 film The Bodyguard?
Oh, Whitney Houston. Yeah, that was super easy.
But wait, this was a two-part question.
Oh.
Which legendary artists wrote and performed? So you got the performed right, but I did not know who it was written by.
Quincy Adams.
Dolly Parton.
You know what? I think I did know that.
Interesting.
I mean, clearly I forgot it, but I think I did know that.
Ooh, this was a good movie. Which 1999 film's main cast was stacked with teen icons such as Sarah Michelle Gellar, Reese Witherspoon, and Ryan Phillippe?
Oh, that was the one where they were incestual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called...
Well, you know which movie it is.
Yeah, it's Cruel Intentions.
Yes, you are correct. Ding, ding, ding. I didn't know this. This is kind of interesting. I don't know if you're going to get the answer, but it's an interesting trivia fact. What three groundbreaking pillars in fashion, music, and philanthropy tragically passed away within 5 months of each other between March and August 1997? So one was a music icon, one was a fashion icon, and one was a philanthropy icon.
So Dolce or the Gabbana.
No, but close. It's Versace.
Oh, Versace.
I know that's what you meant. Yeah.
He was shot on a stair. So Versace. Prince. Aaliyah.
No.
Selena.
No. These are all good guesses. Do you want me to tell you?
Give me a hint.
Well, he likes when you call him Big Papa.
Oh, Biggie.
Yeah.
Okay, Biggie Smalls.
Yep. And the other one is a lady, and she was loved by the whole world, but she's from like the or London.
It's from London. Oh, no.
She was in a car accident.
Oh, the queen. Or the princess, Princess Diana.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, interesting. I did not know this one. Which child star became the first ever to be paid $1 million for their movie role?
Dakota Fanning.
No.
Older or younger? Drew Barrymore.
No, it was, it was 90s, so.
Oh, 90s. That's right, it's 90s trivia. Late 90s or early 90s?
Well, the movie was My Girl.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. That was his.
Interesting.
That was the first.
And then Home Alone.
Yes.
Okay. So give me the next one.
Okay. Oh. What year did Google make its debut? Obviously, it's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give you another one because it's a good one. After the breakup of Nirvana in 1994, what band did Dave Grohl go on to create?
I know this. They
Yeah.
were just here in concert. Did you just hear all the news about Dave Grohl that he stepped out on his wife and got another chick pregnant?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's a long secret to keep because that daughter's
Right.
like older now.
What is the name of his freaking band? The Dolls. No, it's Fighters.
Yes. Okay, we'll do one more.
What was the one before that we skipped over?
What year did Google make its debut?
94, 95, 96,
No.
97, 91.
Oh no, 98. So I thought you were going to do it next. Okay, no. Oh, yeah, I remember when this happened. What 1995 drama that bombed in the box office but became a cult classic starred Saved by the Bell star Elizabeth Berkley?
Oh, where she was a stripper. It's a Versace.
So what's it called?
It's called, I even know the cover where it's like.
I know, that was so risque. It's like, oh, Jessie, she
Yeah.
can't be a stripper.
What was the name of it? Why is my brain not? It's because I am exhausted, people. Listen.
It was a long weekend, yeah.
First of all, this one decides to fly in at 12:30 at night on a Thursday. So what time did
It was cheap.
I said, it'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning when I pick you.
I got out at 12:58.
You're right. And then I had to get up and go to work. And then it's just been nonstop fun. I'm not complaining. It's been a lot of fun, but
Yes.
a lot of late nights.
Yeah.
A lot of laughing.
Yes.
And even a little bit of peeing ourselves. But
yeah, we had a little issue in the porta potty last night. There was a frog. And if any of you know me, but
first of all, porta potties are not meant for two people. So we're both in the porta potty, which there's barely room for one in a porta potty.
And Char was like, maybe I should climb up on top of this thing. I'm like, girl, no. What if it broke and you fell into the pool?
I know the stories we could have told, though. Char falls into a porta. They were brand new. There was no poo in them yet. There was a lot of blue water. So I think we would have been good. But still not something.
Don't want to fall on it.
Swim in a porta pot, that's
No.
for sure. But I was having a lot of wardrobe things. There was a lot going on under my dress and I needed assistance. So she had to come into the porta potty with me.
Yeah. And there was a frog.
So it was comical. I told at one point, I was like, it is a good thing that nobody is outside of this porta potty videoing or recording us right now because it sounds really bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was that movie called? Was Striptease or
Showgirls.
Showgirls?
No, Striptease, I think, was the one with Demi Moore.
It was the one with Demi Moore. Showgirls.
Okay. Well, I think that we did a good one. It was fun.
And you know what? I don't mind hanging up from the record this time because you and I are just going to go hang out in the living room now.
That's right.
So
Yes.
until next week.
Until next week.
Next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good night.